Today we're going to be talking about some of the most iconic shots from the Halloween franchise, and then at the end of the video I'm going to be telling you guys which one of all of these shots is my personal favourite and the one that I think is the most iconic to the franchise. The first two that I'm going to talk about are the ones that came to my head first anyway. It's got to be one of the most significant shots of the entire franchise. You know, we all know the scene in which it's just this darkness and then Michael finally emerges from it. It really is like classic Michael Myers, so I had to include this shot. It's a very, very well known shot. Then we've also got Bob's death, that shot where Michael is just kind of looking at him and it's like he's admiring his work. I mentioned in a previous video that I think that this is the most iconic kill in the franchise, so the shot of this kill has to be up there with one of the most iconic shots as well. As I said, the use of the shadows as we can just see Michael kind of tilting his head as he's admiring his kill and what he's just done. It's one of my favourite shots of the entire franchise. Next up, we've got the shot where Michael is hiding behind the bush. I wouldn't actually be surprised if, as like a general audience of people, if this shot is the one that is maybe most widely seen and known. This shot has been made into countless memes. You know, I always see it on like my timeline of Instagram, Twitter, whatever the social media is, and the person will probably have no idea or it won't be linked to the Halloween franchise at all, but this shot is just so well known because it is a pretty like crazy shot. It's Michael in broad daylight just hiding behind a bush. You know, he's not using the darkness or the shadows to merge in, he's just stood there. So I had to put this in. It's also one of my favorite shots, obviously, but the next one is one of the few shots in this that isn't from the original Halloween, and I wanted to kind of throw it in there just to talk about it a little bit. I know it may be controversial to put it in right now with how new the film kind of is, but Michael, when he emerges from the fire in Halloween Kills, is one of the most insane shots of the Halloween franchise. You know, regardless of how good or bad this film is, I think Michael emerging from that fire is one of the biggest and best moments in the franchise, so I had to go and put that in. It may not be the most iconic right now, but I think give it some time and it's still going to be one of those moments that everybody just talks about within the franchise. Back to the original, a bit of a random one to throw in right now, but this is one of my favorite shots personally, and it's when we first actually see the Myers house, and as well as that, it's the first thing that we actually really see. It's the first shot of the film. And I know the scene and shots that come after it may be more iconic and they are listed, but what I like about this shot is that it's the only kind of time we see the Myers house before anything bad has happened in it. You know, like at the point we see that shot, it was just a normal family home, and I do really like that that's the first shot we actually get of the film. But that does lead me into Judith's death, and obviously the POV shot that we get as Michael, it has to be up there with being one of the most iconic shots. Again, that sequence of Michael doing it all in POV, it looks like it's all one take. It's such a wide known scene, whether you know it's a Halloween film or not, you've probably seen that scene somewhere. You know, this really is a hard choice and I can go on and on listing these shots, but a few more that I want to add into the mix without talking so much about them is from Halloween 2, Michael with his bloody eyes. I remember watching that for the first time when I was really young and it was terrifying. Then we've got the shot of Michael as he's holding the knife after his first kill. We've got Michael when he sits up for the first time. We've got the Ghost Bob shot. And then one of my absolute favourite shots, this absolutely terrified me as a little kid, but it's when Tommy sees Michael for the first time and he's just stood staring from the other side of the road. Even now looking at that shot, there's something so unsettling about it, just the fact he's silhouetted and we know who it is, but he's just watching. And there really are so many more iconic shots, especially from the early films. And I know I'm definitely probably missing some of your favourites, and you know, we could be here all day really if we were listing these shots, because the film, especially number one, it's insane how well that film was shot. The original Halloween truly is like a horror masterpiece, but I do have an absolute favourite, and it is Bob's death. As I said, it's put down as my most iconic kill to the franchise, and I'm going to double down on it and say that it's also my favourite shot of the franchise. I think it's the most iconic just with how many Michael Myers traits are in the shot. But please let me know what you guys think in the comments below of what you think the most iconic shot is. If I missed any that you guys really like, let me know also in the comments below. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.